Welcome back to the shadows, where the myths of the past come to life. Tonight, we journey to the heart of Indonesia to uncover a legend that has terrified generations of children. As the sun begins to set and the twilight air turns heavy and humid, a specific name is whispered with dread: Wewe Gombel. She is more than just a ghost. She is a cultural phenomenon, a manifestation of grief, and a predator of the night. Across the archipelago, the setting sun is a warning, a signal that the boundary between our world and the supernatural is at its weakest. Stay close, because as we delve into the dark woods of Java, you might realize that some legends are far more real than you ever dared to imagine.
To understand the monster, we must first look at the tragedy of the woman she once was. Centuries ago, in a quiet village, there lived a woman whose only wish was to be a mother. In her culture, childlessness was seen as a profound failure, and she bore the weight of this shame alone. Her heart was shattered when she discovered her husband's infidelity, a betrayal that pushed her into a spiral of madness and despair. Driven from her home and shunned by the community she loved, she fled into the dark forest. It was there, amidst the roots of ancient trees, that she took her own life. But the earth refused to keep her. Her sorrow was so potent that it transformed her into a vengeful spirit, forever searching for the children she was never allowed to hold.
Wewe Gombel is not your typical spirit. She is described as a tall, gaunt woman with hair that reaches the floor and eyes that burn like dying embers. However, her most terrifying feature is her enormous, sagging breasts. In folklore, she uses these to hide the children she kidnaps, tucking them under her skin to keep them invisible from the world. She doesn't target just any child. She specifically looks for those who are neglected or mistreated by their parents. To her, she is not a kidnapper, but a savior. She believes she is rescuing these children from a life of misery, taking them to a place where they will never be hurt again. But the sanctuary she offers is far from heavenly.
Wewe Gombel waits for that perfect moment of isolation. She doesn't use force. She uses a motherly warmth that feels disturbingly familiar. She lures the child away with promises of toys or sweets, leading them deep into the thickets of the Kalabagading or into the high canopy of palm trees. Once the child is in her grasp, they vanish from our reality. They are taken to her lair, a place hidden from human sight, where time seems to stand still, and the only sound is the rhythmic beating of the forest's heart.
When a child goes missing in an Indonesian village after dark, the fear is immediate. They don't just call the police. They begin an ancient ritual known as berkat. The villagers gather with kitchen utensils, frying pans, and bamboo sticks, creating a deafening cacophony. This noise is intended to disturb Wewe Gombel and force her to reveal herself. They believe the spirit cannot stand the sound of the community coming together. For hours, the village echoes with the rhythmic clanging of metal on metal, a desperate attempt to break the spirit's camouflage. It is a frantic, high-stakes search, fueled by the knowledge that the longer the child is gone, the more likely they are to change forever under her influence.
While in her care, the children are not physically harmed in the way you might expect. Wewe Gombel doesn't eat them, she feeds them. But the food she offers is a cruel trick of the mind. To the child, it looks like delicious rice and meat, but in reality, it is filth, mud, and crawling insects. This is her way of keeping them in a trance, ensuring they never want to return to the world of the living. Those who have been rescued and returned speak of a dreamlike state, a haze where they felt a strange, cold affection from their captor. They remember a mother who smelled of damp earth and old leaves, singing lullabies in a voice that sounded like the rustling of wind through the trees.
The banyan tree, or pohon beringin, is central to this legend. In Indonesia, these massive, ancient trees are seen as dwellings for spirits. It is said that Wewe Gombel hides her victims high up in the aerial roots, where no human eye can see. If you walk past a banyan tree at night and smell a sudden sweet scent of jasmine, followed by the stench of rotting meat, you are told to run. That is the scent of her presence. The tree becomes a portal, a physical anchor for a being that belongs to the ether. Locals often leave offerings at the base of these trees, not out of worship, but out of a desperate hope to appease the spirit and keep their families safe from her longing grasp.
There is a psychological depth to the Wewe Gombel myth that reflects the values of the society. She is a cautionary tale for parents as much as for children. In a traditional sense, she represents the consequences of neglecting one's duty to the family. The fear of Wewe Gombel keeps parents vigilant and ensures that children are cherished and supervised. She is the shadow of the perfect mother, a dark mirror reflecting what happens when love turns into obsession and grief turns into malice. Even in modern-day Jakarta or Surabaya, where skyscrapers dominate the skyline, the old stories persist. The darkness between the buildings still feels like a place where Wewe Gombel could be hiding, waiting for a child left alone too long. Countless accounts have surfaced over the years. One famous story tells of a young boy who disappeared for 3 days. The village did the bearcat ritual every night until they finally found him perched precariously on a high branch of a palm tree, staring blankly into the distance. When they brought him down, he was covered in mud but otherwise unharmed. He told them that a tall grandmother had taken him to her garden and fed him the best fruit he had ever tasted. He didn't realize that the fruit was actually rotten waste. It took weeks for the boy to speak again, and he never quite lost that faraway look in his eyes, as if a piece of his soul had remained in the spirit world with his silent captor.
As we reach the peak of our journey, the tension in the air is palpable. Many believe that if you speak her name too many times in the dark, you invite her attention. Wewe Gombel is a spirit of sound and shadow. Listen closely. Do you hear that? The rustle of leaves when there is no wind? The faint sound of a woman humming a melody that feels like a forgotten memory. She is there, in the corners of your vision, just out of sight. The legend says she is always watching, always searching for a soul to fill the void in her own. Her presence is a reminder that the night is old and it contains things that our modern minds struggle to comprehend. The darkness is her domain, and she is its queen.
But wait, look behind you, in the reflection of your screen, in the shadow behind your chair. The terror of Wewe Gombel isn't just a story from a distant land. It is the universal fear of the unknown. It is the fear that something is lurking just beyond the light of your lamp, waiting for you to look away. This is the moment where the legend meets the present. This is the moment where the hair on your neck stands up and your heart skips a beat. She is closer than you think, and she never forgets a face. The night stalker is here, and the silence is her favorite weapon. Be careful when you sleep tonight, and make sure your windows are locked tight. The legend of Wewe Gombel serves as a powerful reminder of the deep-rooted folklore that continues to shape our world. Whether she is a figure of pure evil or a tragic spirit born of pain, her story continues to haunt and fascinate. Thank you for joining me on this descent into the darkness of Indonesian myth. If you enjoyed this journey and want to explore more terrifying legends from around the globe, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new nightmare. Until next time, stay safe, keep the lights on, and remember, not everything that wanders in the night is human.